Welcome back to the Global Local Top Tips, and today, pear and brandy tart. It is the perfect time of year to start using up some of these beautiful pears we have at the moment, and I'm going to show you my best recipe today. Let's get stuck in. So first of all, we need some beautiful fresh pears, and we want to make sure they're pretty ripe. We don't want them too hard. We need to peel them and de-seed them. After that, we're going to slice them up. And I like to slice them in thin slices. You can chop them up into squares if you wish. It's completely up to you. I think it just presents better in the tart when we slice them. So here we've got our sliced pears, and all I want to do is I want to add in some beautiful brandy. You can add some lemon juice into the brandy if you're not going to use the pears straight away. So if you peel the pears and then you're going to collect your other ingredients, add in a little bit of lemon juice, but not too much, maybe just 2 tablespoons. Next, the base for it all. So I've got my caster sugar, I've got my flour, and this is just a plain flour. I've got 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and I've got 2 eggs, straight in. I've also got some melted butter, and you can use salted butter or unsalted butter. Then just break the eggs open a little bit and just mix it around. And you know, again, we don't need a mixer for this. This is just a really just enough just to incorporate them a little bit. You want to try and gather up as much of that flour as you can. Then simply just add in your pears, making sure you get all that brandy out of there. And then you're just going to mix them around. And it's such a simple recipe, and this is what I love about it. You've just got some simple ingredients that work really, really well together. And it doesn't look much at the moment, but when we get this in the oven and the pears start to break down and caramelize and that pastry just envelops them, it just brings it to another level. Now I've got my tin here and I've just lined the bottom of it with greaseproof paper. Now if it's not a spring tin, as in if you can't take the base out, I'd really suggest getting a length of greaseproof paper so you can lift it out when it cools down. It might make it a little bit easier for you. And then with our mix, I'm just going to spoon it in. And you just have to squish it all in there and press it down and make it fit. Because again, when these pears start to caramelize, they're gonna shrink. You're gonna have all them beautiful juices coming out of them now, mixing in with that brandy and sugar. And you'll get this beautiful golden brown tart. I'm just gonna smooth it around so we can kind of get all of it in there relatively neatly. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect on the top because it'll all just sink in together when it's baked. In the oven at 180 Celsius for 50 minutes. Now that our pear and brandy tart is nearly done, I want to get a glaze ready for it. So using the same pan that I melted butter in earlier on, because there's still a little bit in there, it'd be a shame to waste it. I'm going to add in some more butter, and I'm just going to, just on a medium heat, just melt it down. And I'm going to add to that brown sugar. Now you could just quite as easily just get an apricot jam from your supermarket and just melt it down. But I think this is just a nicer finish. If you're going to go to the trouble of baking a pear and brandy tart, you might as well go all the way. Just giving it a little shake, and you can see that the butter and the sugar has separated, and you know that you're ready to go to the next step when it all comes together. There you go. So it's all come together now, and that's when you know to take it off the heat. Straight in with a good maple syrup. And now we're ready for our pear and brandy tart to come out of the oven. We're going to pour this over it and let it sink in. It's going to be top class. Our pear tart is done and it's turned out perfectly for us. It's nice and crisp on the top, but you can feel that it's nice and soft underneath. It's quite spongy. Now all I have to do is glaze it. So I've just slightly heated up my glaze again, just so it's a nice sauce consistency. And just with a pastry brush, I'm just going to brush it on. And if you want to be really thorough, you could leave it 15 minutes and go back and do it again. And as this rests, the pastry will shrink back into the tin, taking with it some of that beautiful syrup. Let it rest for at least 2 hours before you slice into it. Let that pastry just relax and soak up all that syrup. Let the pears and the juices all combine. Sliced up and served with a bit of creme fraiche. This is the perfect dessert. So there you have it, my best recipe for a pear and brandy tart. If you enjoy our videos and you'd like to support us in the future, please consider joining our Patreon group. There's some awesome extras, Q&A sessions, our upcoming cookbooks, and some unseen videos. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment down below any videos you'd like to see in the future. Hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon. And we'll see you soon.